What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? It is Friday. Happy Friday to you, April 26th, 11 a.m. in New York City, 9 a.m. here in San Jose, Costa Rica, 8 a.m. in Vancouver, British Columbia, and we have a giant day on the card. But most importantly, it's Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Day for us north of the border. A baseball team with no hope gets a little bit of hope. Thank you, Vladdy Guerrero Sr., for creating such a spectacular young man. And thank you, Anthopoulos, for getting him, signing him, having him in a Blue Jay uniform, a Buffalo Bison uniform. He's been in many uniforms throughout our system, but now he's in a Blue Jays uniform, and we are very, very, very excited. Remo says Vladdy Jr. debut today along with Stroman pitching like in the Jays today. You know what I'm going to do is I'm not going to trust the Blue Jays. Why would I trust the Blue Jays? But I am going to take team total overs. That is the plan. We will break it all down. We have a huge card. Also, I'm not allowed to go over an hour anymore. So both of my early shows and late shows have to stay to an hour. So we got to be quick. We need, as Pete Loshak would say, a brisk pace. So we're going to be quick. We're going to be moving quick. And I'm ready. First off, shout out to Demetrius Miller in the house, Brian Watson, Rem Most, Nut Flush Allen, Tommy Bolt, Walla Dose. We got Gas Station Sushi now says take the Tribe Moneyline Max play. Man, they are no longer a dog. They are now a favorite in Houston. We got Cap'n 24/7. We got Petey Picks, Ramon Scott, Jeff Joseph. Jeff Joseph said, morning all, Jimmy. Great time to be a horse handicapper. Belmont, Churchill Open, and Derby. Man, I'm telling you, Jeff Joseph, I was watching hours and hours of races last night, trying to work on my Derby analysis, hours upon hours, and I loved every second of it. We got Lil J in the house, Ron Lofton, Series Business, Coco Bongo. Also, he's going to be on Red's Moneyline for 1 year. Randy Jimenez says, shout out from Chicago. Jimmy, what a great city Chicago is. Thank you for joining us, Randy. We got John F. We got Bubba Rito. We got Lil J. Steve Cordero, King Rail. Man, did we write the script on that Spurs game. And I decided I was trying to figure out what props to make, and they all would be winners. But at least I did take my man, D-Row, to take care of business. And he did. And I made it a $150 bet instead of a $100 bet. So it was nice. And I didn't triple up on this first game, just double up first half and full game. And it wasn't for DeRozan, I would have lost that first half bet. And all you guys, King Rail, J Money, Max Senpai, Ski Profit, all you guys who were on Spurs first quarter, all I could think about was you guys. Well, the first half bet was crumbling, but I was lucky to get it. Very, very, very lucky to get it. We got Trey Hicks, Alex Ramirez, Joe Rich Ramirez, Poppy Longwood, 69, the big guy, Bubba, Jim Rome, Sadouche, Kevin Pine. There he is, Ski Profit, Troy V, Eric Jones, Sean Jackson. Love Sean Jackson. All right, so we got to be quick. And we have now, every Friday morning, we are going to be joined by Need for Tips. Our man Alex from Team Bankroll is putting money in people's pockets. So this morning on this morning show, we have two cappers joining us who are solely putting money in people's pockets. That is Alex Need for Tips from Team Bankroll. So he'll be on every Friday morning to let us know what he's looking at for the weekend in soccer. And then we have Anna Merrick, who I tailed completely last UFC. And I was rewarded. I was financially rewarded. Now, I didn't go very big in it. I made $50 bets on the straight bets and a $100 bet on the parlay. He's got a ton of picks and a ton of plus lines for this UFC card this weekend. And I'm going right back to the well. These guys, so Anna Merrick, we're going to either be on Thursdays or Fridays, but Alex will be every Friday morning putting money in people's pockets. That is what it is. All right, we got Randy Lockhart says, I tend to think the Isles play a system to adjust for the long playoff. I've been studying a lot about what old Trotsy's been doing with these Islanders. Randy Lockhart says, similar to game one of Boston Columbus, the Islanders could suffer from not playing in over a week, while the Canes could come out flat off an emotional game with 7 wins. Very astute King Rail says, yeah, DeRozan was great last night. Man, when he was opening up the game, he was playing so smart. He had 6 assists in the first quarter and only 2 points. And I was like, oh, what? You're now the smartest player on the floor, and you're not going to bother. But he took care of us. Steve Cordero said, Aldridge double smash. Yeah, plus 126. I didn't take it. Should have taken it, man. But we did enough. Adam Lastman, Pie Guy. We got a great group. Okay. Pie Guy, Jimmy, going to the Jays game tonight. I will be thinking about you. Pie Guy. Brian Watson said, Vladdy going to be great. We're excited. Alex Ramirez says, sorry, Jimmy, Spidey's pick didn't come through. What? That makes you 9-4? Spidey's play today is still spectacular. JD Sportsnut, J Scum, Christopher Comentini, Tomarino Tomer said, Spurs first quarter was not a hard handicap. It will be tough for the Spurs in Denver, though. It certainly will. Okay, so now you know what the show is going to be like. So we're going to be joined by Alex in 34 minutes. So we got to make moves. We got to be fast. Ulysses Hayes on New York Islanders money line tonight. And Ty Clinton giving a shout out to Noli Knows. Wasn't Noli Knows spectacular on the show? I really enjoyed the late show yesterday. It was great. We had Kelly in Vegas, then Big Boss and Noli Knows, and they were great giving out winners. Noli Knows both unders, and Noli Knows gave out a hit too. So it was just a treat to roll with these guys. And then we had Dave Mason talking about from the books perspective from Bet Online about the NFL draft. And then I got to ask him some questions about NHL and NBA. We're going to have Dave Mason on a lot more. And then Ski Profit comes on and kills it. Today's late show is going to be very, very exciting too. We got Donnie Rightside and King Rail. So we got a packed show, but let's get to work. Let's get to work right now. Shout out to Xavier Oliver. We got Sharp Money. Okay, let's get to work right now. So let's start with NBA. We'll just touch on it. We'll just quickly touch on it, and then we're going to focus. I'm going to focus most of my capping when I have King Rail on the late show. We got time. Can you throw up my NBA record? It is a little better. We moved up 3 units there yesterday, which was desperately needed. If I showed you the spreadsheet, man, there was a really, really ugly stretch there because I was up 2 units at the beginning of the week in February 7th to present. So fix that a little bit. Warriors, Clippers. Clippers staved off elimination by winning Game 5. Shot 54.1% from the field. They were in a similar position last week. We all know what happened. They win Game 2 on the road. They're tied 1-1. They come back to Staples Center. They shot 56.5% from the floor in Game 2. They turn around and shoot 37.2% in Game 3 to get it started. Gallinari was a big problem. In Game 5, he was great. 9 for 22, 26 points. And in Games 3 and 4, 7 for 33. And that's just not acceptable. Lou Williams. God, how do you not love Lou Will? 24.4 points. He played smart. He was just spectacular. Also Montrezl playing very, very well. Lou Will averaging 24.4. Harrell averaging 20. And everybody you talk to, simply everybody you talk to is on the Warriors. Everybody. I'd love to hear somebody in the chat come out and say Clippers because I'm not going to jump on the Warriors full game at this point. King Rail says I'm on first quarter -4, first half -6, full game -9.5 all over the Warriors. Man, just unbelievable. Tom Marino says when teams dominate a team on the road, they don't take them seriously at home sometimes. I think Golden State covers. I'm on them at 9.5. Everybody is. Shout out to Jose Villegas saying really liking game winner right now. I watched a ton of game winners races. You know, he's never had a perfect trip, but we don't have time to get into that. He's never. All his trips have been running 3-4 wide to the outside. We'll have to see what kind of post he gets, but I could understand liking him, and you're going to get a better number than one would expect. I don't know if I'm going to go that way. Shout out to Milo Georgiev in the house. Said last night giving you Boston Bruins and Spurs. Yeah, Milo, we love it. Res Mob in the house. Ulysses Hayes, there we go. Ulysses Hayes is on Clippers plus 10.5. I'm going to break down. Oh, Tormino says Clippers celebrate like they won the finals after Game 5. They just want respect. They know they can't win the series. These are all salient points. And then the Clippers announcer, you know, everybody thinks it's his final game. And he never talks to Doc Rivers. And he comes up to Doc Rivers and says, hey, can you keep my career going one more game? And they do it. Everything that you're saying is legit. Legit. Okay, we got Kobe Valentine's plays. I'm going to copy and paste them right here so we can talk about baseball. So that's all we're going to talk about right now in basketball. I'm not making a move. The total opened at 234.5 down to 232.5. The exact same thing, except it opened at 235 in Game 5. Went down to 232.5. We had Jay Money come on say, I'm all over the over, and it hit easily. So we're going to break down this game huge on the late show with King Rail, and I'm not going to make it. I'm going to sit with it a little longer, sitting here knowing that everybody's on the Warriors except for my man Ulysses Hayes. I mean, it's just, I guess I need a little bit more time. And then Kobe Valentine says, let's go Vladdy Jr., giving our franchise a little hope. And we got a lot of hope with Kevin Biggio, Bo Bichette. Yeah, I like it. Okay, JD Sportsnet says Clippers dropped 232.5. I bought a couple points over 230. Won 4 out of 5 games over. I like that move, JD Sportsnet, and I'll bring that up. And thank you, Milo. You're very kind. And Jin Rummy, my man, Jin Rummy says Sharks over 6 at plus 100. God, Jin Rummy, you are so sharp to get it at plus 100 when everybody else, including myself, is going to have to settle for minus 120. Let's talk about NHL right now. Can you throw the NHL records up? My NHL record is taking a beating. After that 3-0 night, I've now gone 0-3 over the last 2 days. I went 0-2 yesterday, and my series bets do not look good. Thankfully, I stayed off the Stars. That total pushed anyways. Coco Bongo saying Warriors going on the over again. Shout out to Dave L.A. Dave L.A., great day of baseball yesterday. Dave L.A., let's keep it rolling. Dave L.A., there is a spot that's opened up on the Late Show if you can make it. I know you're very busy, but if you can jump on it, there is a spot open available for you. Steve Cordero, there you go. Clippers plus 10 money line. Ooh, that's a big balls bet right there. Tormino says Warriors have been undervalued. The undervalued side in this series. Clippers have been lucky to cover except for Game 5. Interesting. All right. And Jeff Joseph, Jeff Joseph, he's not my favorite Bill Mott horse. Not my favorite Bill Mott horse. Got a little thing for Tacitus. A big thing for Tacitus, actually. A bigger and bigger and bigger. But I love it. I love it. Country House to hit the board at 20-1. God, I love Bill Mott. I just love him. There's so many drainers I love. Great group of guys. Great group of guys. Okay. Ulysses Hayes says San Jose will sweep. Oh, let's pray for that. Okay. And Kobe Valentine backing Arizona constantly and getting reward. Okay, let's go quickly. We got to break through this NHL card because we got to start hammering these. We got to start hammering these baseball games. Jerron Lawson says a true fan sticks with their team through thick and thin. Respect, Jimmy. Hey, you know what? We got a lot of hope moving forward, and it's funny because in 92, 93, when they win their back-to-back World Series, I was a giant Expos fan. I liked the Jays, but I was just a huge Expos fan. So when they won the World Series, I had friends of mine that got Blue Jays tattoos when I was like, you just wait for the Expos there. All right. Little Jay says that 3-1 game, Jimmy almost went over, but damn break-even penalties after Benny got ran into. Should have been Blues power play net was empty, but a push will take our money back. Hey, all good. Let's keep rolling. Tormino says, I think Colorado's overrated off the Calgary series. Gaudreau and Calgary were embarrassing. I can see one great player. I can't see one. I agree. Well, let's start with Hurricanes Islanders. What a great series this has turned out to be, which will be. Who would have thought we'd be sitting here talking about Hurricanes Islanders to get into the conference final? Mrazek, Lehner. Lehner's look great. Spends the summer in alcohol rehab, gets through that, deals with his bipolar disorder, and now he's that first-round draft pick goalie that we all thought maybe he could become. Ulysses Hayes liking Sixers in Game 1. I'm not Ulysses Hayes. Fuck that, man. I don't care if the Raptors are 2-14. God, I'm so nervous about that game. Okay, New York, 26-14-3 after January 1st. Carolina, 30-12-2 after January 1st. It always works like that. And it's really my fault. This happens year after year after year. And yet, come playoff time, I'm still thinking, the Pittsburgh Penguins will turn their shit around. It's just bad capping. Every year, it's the teams that have the best record post-January 1st that will. Now, I know the Lightning also were in that group, and look what they did. So, you got to take some of these stats with a grain of salt. But these teams, these undervalued teams like Carolina and the Islanders that have these great records post January 1st, we got to take them in our hockey pool or playoff pools. So the Islanders and Carolina were just 4 points separated them during the regular season. Islanders 3-1-0 against the Hurricanes. Now there's a couple moving parts that are going to be interesting that how we cap them. And I want to hear how you guys cap them. Coco Bunk says Tass is my favorite as of now. You're right. When was the last time a horse from the Wood Memorial won the Derby? 2001. But, God, I love Tacitus. Come on. Look at your Tappett's your dad. Close Hatches is your mom. We talk about regal horses. This is the most regal of the whole group. But let's get into that another time. Okay. So, these are the moving parts. So, one, we have an Islanders team that's had 9 days off since they swept the Penguins. Right? We know that Barry Trott's going to have them ready to go. They've held 5 practices. But here's the other thing. They're not in Nassau Coliseum anymore. They're back in Brooklyn. And I went to look for tickets. There's a ton available. They might not even, will they not sell out this game? It sucks for the Islanders. And it sucks for Islanders backers because in Nassau Coliseum, that place was mayhem. And now they go into sleepy, this arena could be just real sleepy and quiet. So there's a moving parts right there. Important moving parts. Ski Profit on the war. Shout out to Noli Knows coming off a couple of easy winners, easy unders coming on the show. I thought Noli Knows was spectacular on the show yesterday. We need more of them. Jim Rummy said, I got Sharks fair line around minus 140 for the series. You guys have much to learn about statistical odds making. Jackets were overvalued though after beating the Bolts, but not the Avs. I'm telling you what, I'm going right back. I'm going to take the Jackets in every single game in this series. You know what I mean? Every single game. Shout out to Jay Money. What up, mama? What up, salutes? I haven't said that in a long time. And Remo says, yeah, sleepy Barclays Center. Yeah, man. Could be very sleepy, and that's going to change things. So we're looking at this. Hurricanes, Islanders, everyone expecting an under, but it didn't open at 5. Open at 5.5. Now bookmaker at 5. Bet online at 5. Pinnacle not wanting you to take the under 5.5. It's at minus 148 right now. They'll move down to a 5. And then the Islanders opening at minus 130. They're now minus 138, so an 8-cent move towards the Islanders. I'm going to spend more time on it at this point. Troy V said, don't understand what the Isles are doing going to Brooklyn. Had huge home advantage at Nassau. Yeah, it was something that was set long time ago. It was set months ago, so we knew this months ago. We knew all year, we knew if they make it past the first round of the series, of the playoffs, that they're going back to Barclays. So something that we've known about. So we'll see how that works. Kobe Valentine adding Islanders to win the Stanley Cup at plus 600. Wow. That's wild. Wild bet. Imp7 says on Avs and overs all up all night, caught endgame at midnight. Nice. I couldn't care less about really any movie. I don't remember last time I even went to a movie theater, and superhero couldn't give a fuck. Okay. Jim Rummy says, go ahead, Jimmy, be that stubborn guy. I'm just a messenger, but the odds are stacked against you, my friend. Hey, Jim Rummy, we shall see, my friend. And I love so much having you on the chat to keep everybody straight. Truly, you the value of you in the chat is just increases, and I absolutely love it. And yeah, I'm stubborn and I make bad decisions in the playoffs, and I stick with teams that I shouldn't, and blah blah fucking blah. All right, let's keep rolling. Ulysses said I'm going back with the Jackets. Okay, yeah, I agree. Okay, let's keep going here. So I'm not going to make a move on this Hurricanes Islanders game, but again, Gin Rummy getting the over 6 at plus 100, and I didn't even know that was available. Sorry, that's the Islanders game. Let me see what I'm getting here with Pinnacle. What they do with Pinnacle opened it at minus 120. Let's see what Bet Online did here. Bet Online opened the total at minus 120. So I don't know where you got your plus 100, but beautiful work. Oh, King Rail says porn counts as a movie, Jimmy. Okay. So I have seen a few feature films in the last 24 hours even. Okay, let's keep rolling. Ricky Levine says, morning, Jimmy, Sharks and Canes tonight. I would like to back the Sharks. Money's coming in Colorado's direction, and that makes sense. Sharks open at minus 141. You can now get them at minus 130. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Pavelski's not going to be there. Oh, yeah. I get it, Carlos Broja. You do need a new owner. Pavelski's not going to be there. When that's announced, I wonder if more money goes over to the Avalanche side. So I'm going to keep an eye on the market there. With the over, I just want to take the over badly in this series. I think there will be goals. I'm not sure how sharp Grubauer is going to be after some time off. And we know that Martin Jones is just a sieve that could cost me all my futures. So we know those two things are happening. So I'm going to jump on the over now. I'm going to take the over 6 at minus 118 here at 5 times. Over 6 at minus 118 at 5 times. And I think I'm going to take the Sharks, but I want to keep watching for the movement. Okay. All right. Jin Remy says, I'm laughing for like 1 minute. Thank you for the day. Oh, we love you, Jin Remy. Okay. So at this point, San Jose's won all 3 regular season meetings. Really, who cares? This is a different team. Thomas Hertl's become the most outspoken player on the Sharks, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it, especially with Little Joe injured, and Big Joe doesn't want too much attention. And if Hertl wants to be the guy talking, I absolutely love that. He said he watched every game that he could. He said every chance he got, he watched that Avalanche Flames series because he wanted to know who he was playing. I love that shit. So Avalanche expect to have Derek Brassard back and Samuel Girard back. Troy V says Sharks is a play, but if this money keeps moving towards the Avs, then we're just going to get a better line. So I'm going to keep my eye on the market. If at some point I feel like I need to tweet this out, I will do that. But Pie Guy says Jones still way better than Dell. No doubt. let's keep Arundel cheerleading on the bench, filling up the Gatorade, and taking the cheese off the pizza. Steve Cordero says Sharks win the cup. Man, I hope so. Gas Station Brokey Sushi says, is the chat broke? I don't know. Can't. It's looking good to me, Gas Station Sushi. It's looking good to me. Okay. Kevin Pine says, Jimmy, if I have a bachelor party in Costa Rica next summer, will you come? Party? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Kevin Pine? My God. I'm going to be all over that shit. Are you kidding me? My God. That's the best news I've heard in a long time. Yes, I'll be ready to party, Kevin. Okay. Mikey D saying, sorry, that got me. Kevin Pine got me a little too excited. My pneumonia will probably be gone by the time your bachelor party runs around. Okay. Moneyline Global loving the over in the Islanders game. I absolutely love those looks. The idea, the potential of pushing is very big. But if you get over that hump, it can be 3-2. You get that empty net goal. You're getting a huge plus line. So I've always loved those looks. Moneyline Global, always. Okay, so let's move on. So I did take the Sharks Avalanche over 6 at -118, and I'm going to probably take the Sharks money line at some point. So that's what's up. Okay, so now let's get to baseball. And we've seen the good records, and now we must show the bad records. But it's actually, you won't believe, my record's so bad that this has actually been a winning week, and we're coming off another winning day. It's hard to imagine how I could be down 21.54. I like the way Rafa takes it away so fast so you don't get a good look. Oh, there it is again. Okay, he got me. There it is again. No, I like it. Take it away fast, man. All right, but let's get to work. Oh, there it is. There's Need for Tips. There's Alex. He'll be joining us shortly. And we have a guy like Alex putting money in everybody's pockets. Why is he not putting money in the low bagger's pockets? So Alex is going to be on the show every Friday morning from now on so we can get some of his cash can rub off into our wallet. Okay, let's get to work. Let's get to work right now. So we're going to start rolling through these games, and we got to be very quick. Padres at Nationals. We're going to start there. Let me just move straight to MLB at sportsbookreview.com. We're going to go to MLB right now. And we got some great cappers in the chat. Listen to what Noli's on. We already know quickly that Kobe, I copied and pasted his place. He's on Brewers money line -1.5. I really like that move. He's also on Rockies money line and -1.5. I like the idea of fading DeGrom with the Brewers. I'm a little hesitant with the Rockies play, but man, if all I ever did was tail his plays, my record would look much different. Okay, let's get to work right now. Money lines, totals. Man, it feels good, man. It really does. This has been a very good week for the show. I just enjoyed it immensely. We've had all these great guests, and the chat is so sharp, and it's Friday, and the Derby's 8 days away, and it's just been an incredible week of sports. But let's stay focused. Padres, Nationals. Excuse me. Yes, Padres, Nationals, Strom, Scherzer. Okay, let's get to work. So the total opened at 7.5. It's now moved down to 7. Scherzer and the Nats open at -188. There's been a 12-cent move towards the Padres. Scherzer's not looked very good this year. 63 Fahrenheit, 14 miles per hour, and sideways. Scherzer 1-3, 4.45 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, 44 Ks. Imagine I'm saying he hasn't looked that good. He's got 44 Ks and 32 in the third. Has allowed 3 home runs, only walked 5. We're talking about Cy Young year after year. Strom 0-2. I know he didn't win it this past year, but he's a perennial Cy Young candidate nominee. Strom 0-2, 3.05 ERA, 1.16 WHIP. So Scherzer injured his rib cage when a foul ball came into the dugout. So he said Wednesday was really bad. Dave Martinez expects him to pitch, but they did bring up AAA pitcher Austin Voth, who was actually supposed to pitch on Thursday. So they pulled him from that start, so he could fill in. So we'll see if he goes. If you are taking Nationals, make sure you click the button so that the pitcher has to start. Scherzer 3-2, 2.34 in 9 starts against the Padres in his career, 57 2/3, 85 strikeouts. Machado just 3 for 28 against them. Myers 4 for 13 with 2 homers, so Myers hits him okay. He looked terrible against the Marlins on Sunday. 11 hits, 6 earned runs, and 6 in the third. Nationals bullpen is last in the league with 6.97 ERA. I mean, if you want to take Scherzer and you're going to put big money, maybe just first 5 it. On April 19th against the Reds, Strom looked great. 2 hits, 1 run in 8 innings. San Diego bullpen strong, 3.91 ERA. Machado, Tatis Jr., and Myers aren't really hitting that well. And the Padres have got off to a 14-11 start, 7-3 on the road. Jeff Jones said Jimmy Undercard in the Derby is always stellar, maybe 5, 6, 6. Oh, I'll be all over every single race. Don't doubt that, man. I'll be all over every race. And we got the Beat the Bag contest for $1,000 up for grabs. Don't worry. Chris Hernandez saying a Tatis homer coming. Dave L.A. says, I love Nat's first 5 run line, but I'm staying off the other place. Interesting. So the Nationals are hitting lefties very hard, and that's got to be part of Dave L.A.'s thinking. Nationals hitting 304, 890 OPS versus lefties. Padres just 221, 674 OPS versus righties. Interesting. So let's see what we get. First 5, if we're going to roll with Dave L.A., let's see what we're getting. First 5 point spread here. Colby leaning San Diego money line. Interesting. First 5, is still a minus 130 or minus 135. Okay, well, we're going to have lots of time to talk about these games on the second show as well, so I'm not going to make a move at this point on this spot. Okay, so let's get back to it. Let's start with Marlins, Phillies, and let's try to keep a little bit faster. Marlins, Phillies, Urena, Eichhoff, open at 8.5, still there. Still there. A slight 6-cent move towards the over. Philly opened at minus 183. A pretty big move towards the Marlins. A 17-cent move towards the Marlins. And again, I'm using the Bet Online opening lines because they are first to the market. Shout out to Elio in the house. Okay. And Tomo said I'd lean Nationals first 5 at minus 130 as minus half favorites. I get it. And Jim Remy says, can you become successful at sports betting? Worst lines at minus 135. I don't do it in NHL, and that's where I am successful. And we talked about this last night. I mean, Jim Remy was saying, look at that Boston Red Sox over 2.5. He said, because I got a ridiculous line for minus 146. And he's like, you're going to have to hit 65, 70% to make a profit. I still took him over 2.5 and over 5.5, and they both hit. But, Jim Remy keeps us on the straight and narrow, and we must listen. And I agree. No, I don't think you can. If you continually take minus 135s, I don't think you can. Okay. Kobe Valentine leaning to Miami, money line. Mally Mal saying, first 5 lines at minus 110 or no, thanks. Tom Marino saying, rain in the Philadelphia area could be canceled. We are going to skip a couple games because of rain, so let's not spend too much time on this Urena Eichhoff because of the rain situation. But Marlins took the opener. The Phillies don't look very good, and they're dealing with injuries to Segura, Kingery, Herrera, and Roman Quinn. They go 2-5 on their road trip. They come home and look shitty. Eichhoff is coming off of a nice start. So we'll see, but let's not spend too much time until we know if the game is going to be on. Let's move on to A's Blue Jays. Here we go. Vladdy Jr. finally some hope for our downtrodden franchise. 11-14 is much better numbers than I expected. 4-8 at home. That's about where I expected us. Mike Fiers up against Marcus Stroman. Fiers not looked good this year, and Stroman has looked very good. Blue Jays struggle against righties, but those numbers will improve with Vladdy in the house. Now, I don't want to, let's just see what we're getting money lines in. There's going to be a ton of money on the Jays, and mostly from Canadian backers. So excited. The total opens at 8.5. It's now at 9. Stroman actually opening at minus 126 favorite. It's only a 2-cent move towards the Jays. Only a 2-cent move towards the Jays. CT base like in the under 8.5 in Miami, Philly. That's an interesting look, but the rain concerns me. So we'll talk about more once we know that that's going to be on. And Dav fencing, no hitter tonight. No hitter tonight for Scherzer. So the first thing I want to do, I mean, the A's are angry. I mean, the Jays just went in Oakland and swept them, which was nuts. We have Guerrero ready to roll. We're extremely excited. Number 1 prospect in baseball. His numbers were insane everywhere he went, and now we get to see him in the show. Stroman's looked so good. He just pitched Oakland very, very tough. Mike Fiers pitched terribly against us, and Stroman looked awesome against them. But Stroman has bad career numbers against Oakland. Fiers has looked terrible. He's allowed 6 runs in each of his past 3 starts. I'm going to keep things real simple here. I'm just going to take the Jays team total overs. Let's see what I'm going to get here. Going to Toronto Blue Jays team total. I'm getting 4.5 at minus. Sorry, that's 4.5 at minus 111. And for the first 5, I'm getting 2.5 at minus 104. That's what I'm gonna do for this game. The A's concern me. We just swept them. There's gonna be an audience now. It's gonna be an exciting game, but I'm just gonna take the Blue Jays team total overs. Over 2.5 here. Getting over 2.5 at minus 104. This is at Pinnacle. Over 2.5 at minus 104, and then I'm taking over 4.5. Over 4.5. Sorry, let me get to it. Where is it? Sorry, my fault. Line shopping quickly here. Over 4.5 minus 111. All right, those are my moves on the Jays game. So all I will do is cheer on my guy Vladdy. Jansen said Vladdy still has to prove he can hit MLB pitching. That's a real Toronto fan right there. That's a guy living in Toronto. That's what I want to hear, man. That's what I want to hear. That's so funny. Respect. Okay. Kobe Valentine says Fires has just as bad numbers versus us as Stroman has versus Oakland. But Stroman had a great game last time. Can see a replicate. Stroman feeds off emotion in today's emotional game. I hear that. Everybody who's on the Jays, Bubba saying over. I'm just going to back the Jays offense to be excited. Okay. AN says, Jimmy, you ever do European basketball? CSKA looking like a lock today. Thank you, AN. Thank you, AN. When does that game go off? And do you mind giving us a line? Can you get a line for CSKA? We have some guys. We got like Underdog Ruiz. We got some guys who are dabbling in that, but we need more. CT Bay said should have a playoff feel for at least tonight. Okay. I know, Jansen. I know. No, I loved your. I love it. Okay, so let's keep rolling. We're going to be joined by Alex shortly here. And as I said, I can't go over the hour long anymore for these shows, so we got to keep things tight. Okay, let's move on to the next game here. All right, so what do we have on the docket next? I've got the team totals over there. We have Brewers at Mets. Let's not talk about Anderson and DeGrom right now. Heavy thunderstorms in the forecast. So if this game looks like it's going to go off, I love what Kobe's doing with the Brewers. I love fading DeGrom right now, questioning, worrying about his elbow, all that stuff, especially after Brewers just got swept. All that said and done, Dave Outlay on Jays first 5 minus a half plus 100. I like it. But Red Girl says line is 3, Jimmy. Okay, minus 3 for CSK. Okay. Deion Davis on A's money line and the over. Okay. And I Am Axman says Blue Jays game even on TV here in England tonight. Shout out to you, I Am Axman. Much love, man. Watching from the UK. Shout out to you and everybody over there. Okay. Bustin' Cheat says, anybody else on the over in Milwaukee, New York Mets? That'd be another look too. I think the Brewers and the over is a look, but let's not cap until, because it's very likely that it's just a waste of time because it gets rained out. Let's talk Rays, Red Sox. Another game with rain in the forecast. We don't even know who the Red Sox are pitching unless you guys know right now who the Red Sox are pitching. We know that Morton's on the other side. Let's wait to find out who the Red Sox are going to pitch. They're moving Price to Saturday. So let's, again, wait for this. So wait a little bit. Jensen said, I'm in a pissed off mood today because my wife damaged my truck last night due to being careless. Let's pay for that with winners right now, Jensen. Much love. You don't mess with a man's truck. I've never owned a truck. So maybe I'm not much of a man. That's quite possible. Okay, let's keep going. Rockies, Braves, Sensatella versus Max Fried. Let's talk about this stuff right now. Okay. Johnny Moses says Northeast looks bad tonight with the weather. And shout out to Dom Ricci in the house. Love Dom Ricci, our guy Dom Ricci. Young Davis saying Brewers money line, baby. I like St. Louis too. Let's see if we can get there. But let's go with Rockies, Braves next up. Total at 9, opens at 9, but it's moved to 8.5. But look at the one book who's not moving it, and that is Pinnacle. Every other book at 8.5, but Pinnacle sticking at 9. And the opening line was minus 161, so being a 5-cent move towards the Braves. And we already know that Kobe Valentine's on the Rockies at a big plus line, taking on the money line and the minus 1.5. Sensatella did not look good last outing, but he's had a fine season so far. Max Fried's look spectacular. Rockies are hitting just 211, 641 OPS versus lefties. Braves are hitting 252, 763 OPS versus righties. Fried faced the Rockies lineup at Coors April 9th, held them to 1 run, unearned in 6 innings. It was beautiful. But that was a different Rockies lineup. And I'm sure that's part of Kobe's capping. I'm sure it's a lot of different levels and moving parts to his capping. But Daniel Murphy, Ryan McMahon were on the injured list. They're big difference makers in this lineup. First baseman, Murphy. Second baseman, McMahon. McMahon's looked very good. Instead they had Daza and Fuentes in there. Get those guys back to AAA, and that's where they are. They're back in Albuquerque. Okay, so we can talk about them. They're returning to injuries. Rockies opened up 3-12. They've gone 8-2 since. That's got to be another part of his capping. Now we got Sensatella. He faced the Braves twice in his 3-year career, and he's looked okay. He's looked okay against them. 2 earned runs over 5 innings. Sensatella's gone at least 6 innings in each of his 2 starts this season, even though he's coming off a tough loss to Philadelphia on Saturday. Fried, though, 3-0, 1.38 ERA in 4 starts. Took a no-hitter in the 6th against the Cubs April 4th. He looks so good. So good. But Kobe thinks that there's a chance at fading him here, which is very interesting, and that's just going to give me pause. Milo Georgiev says, don't take the Rockies today. Sure lost. This line is a trap. Too good to be true, going the other way. Torino says Rockies hit lefties hard all last year and are healthy. I'd lean Rockies team total over. Interesting. Very. Jim Rome Zeus says game should dictate how long the show goes. Hey, listen, I have no say. I wish it would go longer, but I mean, okay, I can't get into that. Okay, so I'm not going to make a move. I've got to study more about what Kobe's seeing in the Rockies, and I get what Tom Marino's saying and about hitting lefties hard last year, and there's value. I just need a little bit more time on that spot. So let's just keep rolling down the line. We got Indians, Astros up next. Indians, Astros, Cleveland, Houston. Total open at 8. It's now at 8.5. Houston opened at -129. Oh, Houston's still the favorite. Sorry, I thought there had been a bigger move than this. Houston opening at -129. There's a 12-cent move towards the Indians, so you can still get a -117. Kluber versus McHugh. Kluber not look good this year. We're expecting the roof to be open, 83 Fahrenheit, clear 6 miles per hour sideways. McHugh, let's see what you guys are saying about this game. I'm very, very, very interested with what you guys think about this game here. Jansen says, was the Jays the play full game? I'm just keeping it very, very simple. I'm just keeping it very simple with team total overs, but I just don't want to get too excited because I know that we just break down. That's what Toronto sports does to you. Okay, Indians are hitting 205, 628, OPS versus righties, but now they've had 5 games with Lindor back, and their offense should step up a little bit, and they're going to find Colin McHugh much easier than Garrett Cole, I expect. Kluber went 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, but still, against the Braves, allowed 4 runs on 5 hits and 2 walks. It was a winning game for them. 11th appearance against the Astros, 6-3, 2.83 ERA, and in 2018, he was lights out against them. 1-0, 1.35 ERA, 17 Ks over 13 1/3. Correa, 3 for 19 versus Kluber. Just an idea of how amazing he's been. Colin McHugh did look terrible last game. 10 runs, 9 earned over 3 1/3 against the Rangers on Sunday. But prior to that, he'd looked good. He allowed just 5 runs in 23 innings, 27 Ks. This is an interesting spot. Pie Guy liking the over. Mally Mal liking the over. Dave L.A. leaning towards Indians first 5 and the first 5 under. Mally Mal saying it's going over. So, Cody Valentine saying line moving heavily towards Cleveland. I'd lean Cleveland. Ulysses Hayes says better bats in Houston off last night. They will rebound tonight. Ben Sports like in the Houston team total over. Barbarito on the over. And Tom Marino would lean first 5 over. This is another game that I just don't want to make a rush move on, and I just want a little bit more time. But I can understand people taking Cleveland. And Lamont Williams, you're damn right it did. Spurs money line and was his max bet, and it cashed easily. Tormino says Atlanta hadn't seen Kluber much, and Kluber still wasn't great in that. Sorry, that's a great point. But Noli knows like in Cleveland first 5, but notice he's not on the under. Not on the under. Okay, let's keep rolling. Tigers, White Sox, Norris, Rodon. Both pitchers have looked very good this year. White Sox, Rodon is the only one who's stepping up for them in the rotation. Now, both teams have seen these lefties just last week, and they were spectacular. They were very good in the start. Rodon better than Norris, but it's just touchy when you try Rodon coming off a great start. He's pitching really well, but Harrison 3 for 5 against him. Cabrera 4 for 9. Castellanos 3 for 8. Castellanos will start hitting at some point. So Norris looked very good against the White Sox on Sunday. How are these lefties? You know, when 2 lefties pitch against a team and they look so good. Is that going to happen again? And maybe it does. Tigers hitting just 218, 631 OPS versus lefties. White Sox just 255, 687 OPS versus lefties. But again, I just want a little bit more time. Okay, we've got to go. We're not going to be able to get to all these games as we got to keep things very tight here, time-wise. Orioles, Twins. Is this an over jumping at us? So let me just briefly talk. And no saying don't like the under in Cleveland White Sox. Dave L.A. leaning towards the White Sox. And Ben Sports 24/7 going to the under. Those are both leans that I kind of like. Orioles, Twins, is this a game that just goes over? Are these pitchers just trash? And is the Twins offense so good that it might have value even at a huge line? Because it's a huge line. Open -180. It's now -1. Sorry, it opened at -180. It's now -170. Wow, it's gone. At BetOnline, they've gone 1 cent in Baltimore's direction. This total is still at 9.5. There's been very little movement. Pie Guy leaning Orioles. Ulysses leaning under and to the Minnesota money line. Ron Love says, got to go with D-backs while they're putting cash in my pockets. I get it. Bubba said, Loshak posted a video yesterday on the over. Yeah, I retweeted it. His video. The over makes sense. Cobb versus Perez. They both look terrible. I trust neither of them. But I do kind of like Cobb better than Perez if it came down to it. Joe Rich Ramirez says you might be okay first 5. Yeah, I'm going to... And Bleds W giving a shout out to Nolan making unders great again. So I wonder if the over is just a simple play here. A simple play. Okay, I hear you. I wish we could go longer too, but it's been nothing I can do here. Okay, what do we think Danny Duffy's going to do against the Angels here? Started with this left shoulder impingement syndrome. Supposedly he was hitting 95 in his one start. Mally Mouse says crazy over series O's Twinkies. Pie Guy says Cobb will step up eventually. CD Base says 7-5 type game. I agree. So why is that over not being hammered? I guess because it's going to be so cold. Yeah, Antoine Seymour, they never made a deal to allow that. So, Christopher Commenting said Loshak said Chicago, Detroit over. Yeah, I didn't think he did say the Twins over, but I thought maybe because I did watch it. I watched it a couple times. Get a good look at that beard. But so the over in Orioles Twins, is that a spot that we jump on? And then Danny Duffy, what do we expect? Ulysses Hayes taking them plus 1.5. Tyler Skaggs, do we trust this guy also coming back off of an ankle injury? Then we have Reds Cardinals. So I want to make a move on the Cardinals here with Michaelis. And then I want to make a move on the Dodgers with Hyunjin Ryu. I want to go back to Pirates team total under. I also want to make a move on the Mariners. First 5, full game, team total over against Shelby Miller. But do we trust Yusei Kikuchi? I'd love to hear what you guys think about whether or not we trust Yusei Kikuchi. The Rangers are having a tough time hitting lefties, 219, 683 OPS, sort of putting Joey Gallo, who's their toughest out, into a bad situation. Viper MB said, Jimmy, you want any hockey plays? I'm waiting to get a better number on the Sharks because the market's going towards the Avs, and then I'm on the over 6 in that game. So let's bring in our man Alex. Let's give Alex a call. But those are going to plays that I want to add. I want to add Dodgers first 5 full game. Thinking about Mariners, and David L. saying I don't trust Kikuchi. You have every reason not to trust him. So Dodgers first 5 full game and Cardinals first 5 full game are plays that I want to make, and we're going to have to touch on them briefly at some point. But at this point, let's move on to a man making his Friday morning debut. Now going to be a Friday regular. A guy who puts money into Capper's pockets on an incredibly consistent basis, plus units every single year. Man, and I love working with this guy. Please welcome Alex, Need for Tips, to the Betting with the Bag show on this Friday morning. How are you doing in Romania? Oh, it's not Friday morning over there. How are you doing in Romania, good sir?
I'm doing well. Getting ready for the weekend.
Oh, man, I'm jealous.
Let me take a drink. Gin and tonic. And let me, please excuse me to interrupt that 260, 140, 200. I don't know what the fuck you're saying there, but I love the show. I love what you're doing every day. I don't know MLB, but I'm watching the show because it's a pleasure to see you doing the host on your own every single day. This is brilliant what you're doing for us. And again, I thank you in the name of Team Bankroll, who are a fan. All of them are fan of your show.
Well, you know, the one thing that I don't do as consistently as you is put money in people's pockets, Alex. And that's what you are known for. And that's why we're so excited to have you on the show, because the whole idea of this show is we need to work together to defeat the juice, to beat minus 110, working together. And that's why we have called you in. We've called you in for winners. And I'm ready to tail. I'm ready to improve my bank account rolling with you. So let's get right to it, my man. Thank you so much for joining us. And what is the first game you are looking at?
Because we already spoke about the weekend matches yesterday on the Best Bet show, so at SBR. So if you want to check our best bets for the weekend, you can take a look at that video, a video with Natalie, Stewart, and Martin, and of course me. Let's go and talk a little bit about Champions League semifinals and Europa League semifinals happening next week. We will go more in depth next week on Monday on our show, on Team Bankroll show. But till that time, let's break down a little bit the matches and give an early tip for an early pick, how you say, guys, for every match. So there are 4 matches. In Champions League, we have Tottenham versus Ajax. In the other semi-final is Barcelona versus Liverpool. And in Europa League, we have Eintracht Frankfurt versus Chelsea. And, of course, Arsenal versus Valencia. 4 incredible matches happening from Tuesday till Thursday. It's sad because the regular season is ending in 4 weeks from now, with the Champions League final happening in June 1st. And after that, we'll have a break, but we will still cover Copa America, Euro Under 21, and some other important competitions. So it will not be a total break, but it will be a break from the top 5 leagues and the other important stuff that we're covering with the Team Bankroll.
Beautiful, beautiful setup. They sound like exciting matches, and I am all ears. What would you like to start off with? I guess the most appealing, is it Arsenal Valencia, or what are you looking at first to break down?
No, the Champions League, most important competition in European soccer, football, how we are saying. Tottenham versus Ajax, 2 underdogs that made it so far. Huge surprises. Tottenham managed to knock out Manchester City in the quarterfinals, and Ajax managed to knock out also Real Madrid, also Juventus in their way through the semi-finals. So both underdogs go head-to-head in this 2-legged match. First match, it will happen on Tottenham's new turf, new pitch. They have a perfect record there, 4-0. But the problem is that they are missing their their top 2 top scorers, Harry Kane and Son. Probably it will be a huge blow for them because Ajax are very creative. I think that Ajax have the less budget from the Champions League semi-finalists. I think that they had that also from in the quarterfinal. They are a huge surprise right now, and I'm going with them to qualify. Incredibly or not, they are favorites to qualify, priced at -110. So going further in the final. Also, you can take them with the Drono bet at -110 in the first match away at Tottenham. So in case of a draw match, it will be a push. In case if they win, we will win the bet. But the most important match from the Champions League semi-finals, of course, is Barcelona versus Liverpool. 2 great teams, absolutely amazing season from both of them. With a little difference there, Barcelona are almost winning their domestic league. So if they win against Levante this weekend, they are wrapping up the title and they are heading into the semi-finals full of confidence. Nothing to fight for in their domestic league, so fully focused on that Champions League semi-final against Liverpool. On the other side, Liverpool are trailing Manchester City by 1 point in the Premier League, and every game is a final for them, also in their domestic league, but also in the Champions League. I think that both teams offensively are very, very good. Barcelona are not the best defensive side in the world, but they have Messi, a guy who can solve a match on his own. And again, I think that this year he will win the Ballon d'Or. On the other side, Liverpool, Sadio Mane, Firmino, Salah. I think that incredible, one of the best center backs in the world, Virgil van Dijk. But I fancy goals in the first leg. I'm going to play the Alex Classic, which is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in the match at -105. That's it with the Champions League, and we're talking about Europa League. 2 important matches also there. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Chelsea. Eintracht Frankfurt with an absolutely amazing season in both competition, also in the German Bundesliga, but also in Europa League. Chelsea, on the other side, struggling this season, still fighting for a top 4 finish in the Premier League, because a top 4 finish will earn them a Champions League spot for next year. Eintracht, great going forward. Chelsea, brilliant with Hazard going forward and Giroud playing most of the time in Europa League. I think that, again, goals on the card also there, over 2.5 goals at +100. And the last match, Arsenal versus Valencia. Arsenal, I don't know what is happening with them. The 2 defeats in a row, but they are another animal on their turf. Valencia with let's say a poor first half to their season, but a brilliant second half to their season. They are fighting in their domestic league for a top 4 finish. Brilliant in Europa League. They arrived in the semifinals, and everything is possible from now on. Arsenal at home, very good. Again, I think that Arsenal can win this home match, and I'm going for that, which the price is around minus 115. But I also fancy goals there. Alex Classic, both team to score and over 2.5 goals at plus 130. And despite Valencia missing one of their key players, Denis Cheryshev, who is injured and he will miss the rest of the season, they have great forwards, great attacking players, and from the middle and up, they are brilliant. So Arsenal, not the best defensive side in the Premier League and either in the Europa League. I think that they will concede on their turf. So goals on the card also there.
Beautiful. So I'm writing everything down on my end. So Ajax, and then you got both teams to score and over 2.5 in the Liverpool-Barcelona match. And then you like Arsenal, both teams to score and the over 2.5 there?
Yes, and Eintracht Frankfurt versus Chelsea, just the over 2.5 goals.
Just the over 2.5 in the Eintracht Chelsea. Beautiful. What a treat it is to have you give us little bits and pieces of your knowledge every Friday. It is going to be a huge asset to our whole Low Bag fam moving forward. Alex, you are a class act and a great capper, joining us with your gin and tonic in Romania, straight out of Romania. What a treat it is to roll with you. I miss you very much, my friend. It was wonderful hanging out with you when you were down here in Costa Rica. I miss you very much, and it's just a treat to have you every Friday.
See you next year for Euro 2020. I will be in Costa Rica once again. And for everybody who are celebrating Easter this weekend, because I am celebrating Easter this weekend, happy Easter. We are Christian Orthodox here in my country. So this is the big Friday. Tomorrow we have the big Saturday, Sunday, the Easter day, and so on. So cheers and happy Easter for everybody. You can find me on Twitter every day giving my free picks. I am 85 units of profit on Twitter all season long. And together, overall, I am around 100 units of profit with the AKA shows, with the Best Bet show, and the rest of the projects that I have going on with SBR. And most of all, with Odds Market, because be careful. If you're not following Odds Market, you're missing money. We have snooker, golf, UFC, darts. I don't know. You tell me a sport, we have it, because Odds Market is a brand new project. It's the sister site of SBR with a European face, a brilliant host. Natalie is the host and the mother of this project. Let's say it like that. Let's put it this way. And I think that you should follow Odds Market on Twitter and all our shows every single day. We have shows on Odds Market. And we have Formula One, MotoGP. I don't know. You say a sport, and I will say to you if we have it or not. But I'm saying that we have most of the important sports. Also cricket, if you like to bet on cricket, and so on. Cheers.
We love you, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us. Jose Villegas says, yes, darts. People are very interested in what you have to offer. Just putting money in our pocket. Failed at Life said it perfectly. He said... he said, this man is killing soccer. Pay attention, you fools. Thank you so much for joining us, Alex. Great stuff. All right, now we're going to move on right away to our man, Clint Maximus in 3D and Americ in the house. Coming off a beautiful 4.5 unit plus card in UFC Russia, UFC St. Petersburg. I got Roxy at plus 275. You got her plus 300. You hit your parlay. You had plus dogs. I love it. Let's get right into it. First off, thank you for joining us. How are you doing on this Friday morning in Phoenix?
Doing fantastic. Good morning, low baggers. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it.
We did. we did make it, and I'm pumped, man. I enjoyed starting off my Saturday morning with winner after winner rolling with you. So let's get right to it. I see your action right now, and there is a lot of it. So let's start rolling through the card. Okay, so look at this. Why don't we can get into the main event. Why don't we just start rolling through all your picks, because there's some plus line action. So first off, let's talk about the Lima fight. I'm going to bring up it on SBRodds.com. So let's talk Diego Lima, Court McGee. Court McGee opening up at minus 170. Money coming on Court McGee now minus 190 at BetOnline. What do you see here?
So Diego Lima's Achilles heel in the UFC has been his grappling game. His last couple of fighters, he got snuffed out by guys that just have really, really heavy top pressure, and that's really the hole in his game. Court McGee is a pressure fighter, but he likes to do it striking. He's got a ground game, so he will take it to the ground every now and again, but I don't think he's got the kind of top game that it's going to take to hold down an explosive guy like Diego Lima. Diego Lima is also young and improving, whereas Court McGee is older and maybe on the way out. We may have seen his best days in the past. So we're getting around plus 140 on the underdog here, who I expect to have some improved takedown defense. And if this is a striking fight and Court McGee is willing to engage in a striking battle, I like Diego Lima. I think we got value on the dog here.
Value on the dog, and this dog is getting pricier now. We can get him at open at plus 145, now plus 165 at BetOnline. So getting juicier and juicier. As always, Ann America opening us up with a dog. Let's keep rolling along here. Jason Gonzalez, Jim Miller. Jim Miller opening at minus 150. Money coming in on the dog, now minus 138. What do you see here?
This is a spot where usually I like to fade people taking a step up in competition when they fight somebody new or somebody who is older and more experienced. They've got that veteran savvy. I like to fade them in that spot. However, Jim Miller is another one of those guys who's winding down at the end of his career, and Gonzalez has some knees and kicks from hell. Jim Miller's going to try and get in, close the distance, get the takedown. The last time he did that was against Dan Hooker, and he took a canvas snap from a big old knee. I think that Gonzalez is athletic enough to keep this fight standing. If it does get to the ground, he'll be able to defend and get back to his feet, and I just think he's going to outstrike Jim Miller, maybe even end up knocking him out.
Wow, there's another dog on the card. Anamera going with Jason Gonzalez. Let's keep rolling right along here. Lavinia Souza versus Carla Espressa, and this is off the board right now here at SBR odds. Maybe you know more about that. What are you thinking here?
So this is a spot where I'm going to follow my strategy of fading the step up in competition. This girl, Verna, she doesn't belong in the UFC yet. Well, I mean, okay, she's 14-0. She deserves a shot in the UFC, but they are throwing her to the wolves. Carla Esparza is the former UFC champion. The only people that she gets beaten by are explosive, athletic, young, powerful wrestlers that can negate her ground game. That's not Verna. Verna's a jiu-jitsu girl. She wants to get it to the ground, but she's not much of a wrestler, and then she's got a slick jiu-jitsu game once it gets down there. I don't think she can take down Carla Esparza. Carla's constantly improving. She's looking to get herself back into title contention. Her striking is improving. I think she uses her wrestling in reverse, keeps this thing on the feet, and then boxes Verna up to an easy 3-round decision. If it does hit the ground, I expect Carla to be on top, and she's got a heavy top game. I don't see her getting swept or submitted while she's on top of this girl. I think this is Carla all day, and the wrong girl's favored.
Wow, there's 3 straight plus lines from our man, Anna Merrick. Let's keep rolling along. We have Takahashi Sato versus Ben Saunders. Saunders opening up at plus 165 dog, and it stayed there right now at BetOnline. Sato, Saunders.
Sato's brand new to the UFC. We're fading the guy who has not fought this level of competition again. He's impressive. He's been knocking people out, but he's been over on the Asia market, and they don't do well when they transition over to the United States facing high-caliber wrestlers like we have in the UFC. And that's where I think we're getting line value on this one. I would exercise some caution here. I don't like betting on chinny fighters. Ben Saunders is a chinny fighter, but I saw on Twitter he's been bringing in some high-caliber wrestlers to help him prepare for this matchup. And if he understands that his chin is damaged and he uses the skill set that he's got to take this young green guy down, he's going to have a massive ground advantage. He has a optimistic submission game, and this kid Sato stands up with nothing but his explosive power, leaves his arms and his neck wide open. If Saunders can get this thing into a clinch, into a scramble, get him down on the mat, one knee, something like that, I think Sato gives up his neck. I think we've got a shot for a submission here by Ben Saunders.
Wow, there's 4 straight dogs. Very, very exciting.
That number's going to keep going up, Jimmy.
So that was what I'm going to ask you. For any of these guys, should we wait? But let's keep rolling through here. We're keeping a very nice pace here, and I know you got a ton of action. Let's move on to Corey Sandhagen and John Lineker. Lineker opening as a -146 favorite, but money coming in on the dog slightly, a 5-cent move towards Sandhagen.
Sandhagen's got all the physical attributes in this fight. He's taller. He's the larger fighter. He actually is used to fighting a weight class up from Lineker. And while Lineker is hand of stone, the dude he's got brutal knockout power. If he connects, he can finish anybody. But the last guy that he lost to was TJ Dillashaw, and Corey Sandhagen was TJ's main training partner during that run. So he's got all of TJ's strategies. He's got all of TJ's answers. He's younger, and he's really starting to put it together. He's got wrestling, striking. He manages distance well. I think Lineker is going to have a hard time hitting him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of range boxes his way and kickboxes his way to a 3-round decision. Maybe he puts it down on the mat, and he's got brutal ground and pound. So if he can get Lineker on his back, maybe he finishes it.
5 fights in 5+ lines from Anna Merrick. Let's keep rolling right now. Ian Kudaleba versus Glover Teixeira. Teixeira opening up as a +140 dog at BetOnline, and a huge move towards Teixeira. Teixeira is a 56-cent move towards Teixeira, now the -116 favorite. What do you see here?
I snagged him at that +140 juicy line that came out, and I tweeted him out because I saw that line crashing. So anybody that follows me on Twitter, you got a better line than anybody else is going to get right now. Ion Cutelaba should not be the favorite over a guy like Glover Teixeira. This is another spot where the old dog has still got some tricks in his bag. He's fought the higher level of competition. He's challenged John Jones for the title. Ion Cutelaba's got some holes in his game, and everyone's saying that Glover is old and chinny, but Glover also knows that. Glover's a legitimate wrestler, and he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Ion Cutelaba struggles when he gets to the ground. His takedown defense strategy is just stand up. He's one of those big, brutal strength type of guys. He puts one hand on his opponent and he stands up. It doesn't matter how big and heavy they are. Glover, on the other hand, knows how to use his wrestling top game. If he gets Ion down and Ion tries to use that strategy, Glover's going to take his neck. I think Glover can finish this fight by KO. He can finish it by submission, and he's going to be the one that would be smart enough to get a decision out of it where Ion will gas after the first round because he goes full force, power, pressure, everything. If he doesn't get the first round knockout, he ain't winning. I'm on Glover.
Wow, I love it. Great breakdown. Let's keep rolling. A few fights left. We got Mike Perry, Alex Oliveira. Oliveira opening at -180, a 15-cent move towards Perry. What do you see here?
I'm on the dog again, Jimmy. We're rolling. So this is the spot that you want to be on Mike Perry. He came into the UFC. He got a bunch of big flashy knockouts, and then they threw a -200, -250 chalk line on him as he moved up the rankings, and he choked against a couple of top contenders like Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Well, now he's an underdog again. They've dropped that line back down. They see the holes in his game, but the holes in that game are getting patched. He brought in the main event fighter here, Jacare Souza, to work on that ground game. He's been working with him, and that's been basically his whole camp. So Alex Oliveira is going to come in, try and take him down, try and submit him, but he is working with a guy who's a weight class up, who's arguably one of the best submission grapplers in the entire UFC. He's going to be prepared for that game plan. The other thing is Alex Cowboy Oliveira is willing to brawl, and that's when Perry shines. Most guys come at him with a technical type of striking battle. That's where they're able to outpoint him and sneak wins away from him, and he gets real flustered. Cowboy doesn't do that. He comes in and throws haymakers. He dives in for the takedown. That's the kind of guy that Perry's going to be able to loosen up and unload on. I think we get a brawl here, and both guys are dangerous. One out of the two of them is a quitter. Mike Perry never quits. I just think we've got all the intangibles going for Mike Perry. So +160, I can't turn that down.
Oh, man, this is exciting. I'm loving this card. Plus line after plus line. Now we get to the Greg Hardy fight. What the hell is going to be in store when Greg Hardy gets in the ring? How do you see this fight banging out?
This one is super simple for me, Jimmy. I made a promise to myself when the UFC signed Greg Hardy that I would fade him until he beat a UFC caliber fighter. And when they gave him a step up in competition the last time, he was a -350 favorite again. His opponent was +280, Cyril Asker, I believe. And you know what? Cyril won round one. That's the first round one that Greg Hardy's ever lost. And then he got a little flustered. He got a little panicked. He throws an illegal knee and loses by DQ in round 2. He's a fresh green fighter. He's only 3-1 without a lot of experience. Dmitry Smolyak is another big athletic heavyweight, and he is UFC caliber. He beats everybody on the regional scene. He's got a lot of decent names on his record. And while he's not top tier in the UFC, neither is Greg Hardy. Until Greg Hardy beats a guy like this, I'm going to bet against him. I'm going to roll the dice on the plus 270, plus 280 underdog here with Smolyak. He's got a big ground advantage. He might actually have a speed advantage. Hardy will probably be the bigger, stronger guy in there. But again, if this gets out of round 1, I think we've got a live dog in Smolyak. He knows what he's doing, and that's something that Greg Hardy doesn't know how to deal with, is a fighter that can take his pressure and his power and keep coming.
Wow, another giant plus line. Smolyak opening at plus 260 and now plus 300 at Bet Online. And then we come to the title fight. Is that right? The next one's the title fight?
Main event, baby.
Tell me what
it's a title eliminator, not a title fight.
Okay, title eliminator. Break it down for me. This is the big one.
This one is a little bit scary. So Jack the Joker Hermanson, we bet on him, if you recall, just about 2 weeks ago when he fought David Branch, and we cashed a nice big underdog line there. This kid's on a rocket ship for the top of the division. He is legit, and he's got some of the scariest ground and pound the UFC's ever seen. Jacare Souza is winding down towards the end of his career. I think he's 39 years old, but he's been a perennial top 3, top 5 guy the entire time and is banging on his chest for a title shot that the UFC has just never quite given him. He was going to get a title shot, but he fought Kelvin Gastelum, who we saw fight for the interim title just about a month ago, but he lost that by split decision. It was razor thin close, and a lot of people thought that Jacare won that fight. So he's angry, he's pissed off. The Joker's on a quick turnaround coming off that first round submission victory, and I actually think that may go against him. He's the younger rising star here, but he's stepped up in competition 2 times in his career. Both of those times he's gotten finished. One by submission, one by knockout. He's taking a massive step up in competition here against a guy who could legitimately be the champion in this division. And his greatest strength is ground and pound. If he goes to the ground with a guy like Jacare Souza, he's going right in Jacare's wheelhouse. If they decide, you know what, we're both good on the ground, we want to keep it standing, Jacare's got brutal knockout power that he's developed, and he really showed us in his 3-round fight with Kelvin Gastelum and his knockout of Chris Weidman. I think Jacare wins this fight everywhere. The Joker's a prospect. The Joker's a kid that I like moving forward, and in a lot of spots, I don't blame anybody for taking the dog shot on the Joker, but I can't fade Jacare.
Wow. Unbelievable. So then, Jacare, if you want Jacare, it keeps going up. It's minus 200 at Bet Online.
I would take him inside the distance. This is a 5-round title fight. I don't see this going the distance. One of these guys is going to submit the other. One of these guys is going to knock the other out. There's no way they can take the damage that both guys can output over the course of this 5-round fight. So you might be able to get him around minus 170, something like that. If you want Jacare, you got to lay the wood. So if you're not interested in laying the wood on this fight, I would suggest passing. Sprinkle on the underdog if you want to sweat or something like that. Maybe take the under if it's sitting around 2.5.
Wow, wild. And do you have a parlay on this card? Or are you still working on that?
Still working on that. I need the totals. They weren't out when I broke down the card. I've got a couple of spots that I like. I'm looking at for the totals. I want to tie maybe 3 or 4 of them together, something like that. But really, what I suggest on this card is drop your unit size just a little bit if you're going to tail all of my action, because we're taking 9 plays, 8 of them are underdogs. There's going to be some variance there. I don't foresee a sweep on this kind of a card with the underdog shots that I'm taking. So we're just coming, we're looking to go 5-4, 6-3, something like that, hoping we come out on top on the picks with all these plus lines. So lower the variance a little bit. Don't go nuts hammering these things.
Beautiful stuff. What a treat it is to roll with you, Anna Merrick. Man, love you so much. Tell us about where we can find you on Twitter and a little more about your podcast.
Well, I do the podcast breaking down every single fight. I go a little more in depth than we do here because I've got more time to goof around and try to have some fun with it. It's the Die Hard MMA podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Die Hard MMA Pod. We're creeping up on that 1,000 followers mark. We're at about 750 right now. So things are going well. I'm enjoying it. And we are damn near close to 40 units since the beginning of 2019. I think I'm plus 37.5 units right now after last week's card.
Spectacular work. Thank you so much for joining us. I will be tailing this action. It worked very well for me last week, so I will be tailing, and I'll be in touch, my man. I'll be in touch.
Love it.
Love it. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. I was told to keep the show to an hour, and I've not been able to do it, but these guests are putting money in people's pockets, and they need the time. Okay, so we gotta go. We have a huge late show. We're gonna finish off the MLB card on the late show. But I tell you what I am going to do. I am going to jump on the Dodgers first 5, Dodgers full game, and I may take the Pirates team total under. Something that we've been hearing from our man Twatty Latte, just putting money in people's pockets. I'm also going to be jumping on the Cardinals. I'm going to be jumping on Cardinals and Michaelis first 5 full game. So those 2 plays I'm going to have to tweet out because we don't have time to break it all down. So I'm going to be jumping on those 2 plays. Now let's just go over everything I'm on at this point. I'm staying off making a move, Warriors, Clippers. We got King Rail on the late show. In NHL, I'm hesitant to make a move, Hurricanes, Islanders. I know they're playing in Barclays Center, and it might not even sell out. How am I going to handle that with the Islanders having this long break and the Hurricanes coming in ready? I just need more time with it. Then I'm going to be taking the Sharks over 6. I already took that at minus 118. I'm going to back the Sharks, but all the money's coming in on the Avalanche right now, so I want to see maybe this line gets better for me. They're going to announce Pavelski's not going to be in the lineup. Maybe the line just continues to get better all day long. In MLB right now, I am only on the Blue Jays team total overs. Over 2.5, minus 104. Over 4.5, minus 111. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Also, I think that this Brewers look is interesting, but it looks like it could be rained out. So the only moves I'm making are those 2 Jays team total overs right now. And then I'm thinking about the Orioles Twins over. That may be a move I make pretty soon. Although, I got to go over weather and everything in Minnesota a little bit more. And then I am going to take Cardinals first 5 full game and Dodgers first 5 full game. And Pirates team total under. I'm going to be making those moves. Jose Villegas saying Islanders game under, Jimmy. Charles Barkley saying Canes money line, Jimmy. That might be a move. Elio hitting Keeneland. I'd love to hear what you're on. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to have a huge late show very soon. And much love to all you guys. And to the SBR Brass, sorry it went long. I'll work on keeping it an hour. Much love to all you guys. Leche, hey, those bookmakers!